Hi everyone, I hope you all safe and healthy with your family and friends. In this video, we are going to learn about 11th Standard Accountancy, Chapter 6, Subsidiary Book 1. Exercise sum number 3. Prepare the purchases book and sales book in the books of Santosh Textile Limited from the following transactions given for April 2017. So what we do, we are going to open purchases book and sales book simultaneously and prepare both the books, okay, side by side, okay. So first transaction is 2017 April 1. Purchased goods from Prasad Kanchipuram on credit. So what this transaction tells us? This transaction clearly tells us this is the credit purchases. Okay, so you can enter this transaction into your purchases book. What is the details are given here? 100 meters silk at rupees 450 per meter and 75 meter velvet at rupees 180 per meter. Okay, so we are going to present this transaction into the purchases book. Before we are going to prepare the purchases book, we need to prepare the title and format of the purchases book. That is, in the books of Santosh Textile Limited purchases book, the format of the purchases book is date, particulars, outward invoice number, LF, amount are divided into 2, that is detail rupees and total rupees. The first transactions is occurred on 2017 April 1 and the supplier name is Prasad. Okay, name of the supplier whose name is Prasad. The detail of the purchases is 100 meters silk at rupees 450. So what we do? We have to multiply 450 into 100. How do we got? We got 445,000. We entered it into the detail column. Then 75 meter velvet at rupees 180. So what is the calculation? 180 rupees into 75. How much we get? We got 13,500. So we have to add the Prasad details amount. We will get the total. How do we get 45,000 plus 13,500? We got 58,500. So 58,500 is to be entered into the total column. We entered. Then the next transaction is April 10, sold goods to Rathinam, Chennai on credit sales. What this transaction tells us? This transaction clearly tells us this is the credit sales. So you can enter this transaction into your sales book. Okay, so what is the detail is given here? 60 meters silks at rupees 490 per meter and 50 meters velvet at rupees 210 per meter. Okay, so we are going to open the sales book. So before we are going to enter this transaction, we need to prepare the title of the sales book, that is in the books of Santosh Textiles Limited sales book. The format of the sales book is sales, particulars, outward invoice number, LF, amount, details, rupees and total rupees. Okay. In date column, we have to enter 2017 April 10. Who is the customer? In sales book, we call the customer name. Okay. So the customer name, the detail of the product is 60 meter silks at rupees 490. How do we calculate? We have to multiply 60 into 490. What we get? We got 29,400 entered into detail column. Then 50 meters velvet at rupees 210. The calculation is 210 into 50. How do we get? We got 10,500. Then we have to add these two values and enter into the total column. That is 29,400 plus 10,500. How much we get? We got 39,900 is to be entered into the total column. We entered. Then The next transaction is April 18. Northern and Sons purchased from us on credit. So this transaction tells us sales, credit sales. Okay. The detail of the goods is 100 meters silks at rupees 510 per meter. Okay, so in sales book we enter April 18 in the date column and the customer name is Northern and Sons. The detail of the product is 100 meters silks at rupees 510. So how do we calculate? We have to calculate 510 rupees into 100. How much we get? We got 51,000. So we directly entered 51,000 in the total column. Then April 20 purchased goods from Hariram and Sons, Madurai on credit. This transaction tells us purchased goods on credit. This is the credit purchases. So we have to enter this transaction into the purchases book. 50 rolls Khada cloth at rupees 730 per roll and 80 rolls cotton cloth at rupees 650 per roll. So we take the purchases book and enter the date of the transaction, credit purchases transaction, that is April 20. The name of the supplier is Hariram and Sons. We entered into the particular column. The detail of the product is 50 roll Khada cloths at rupees 730. We have to calculate 730 into 50. How do we get? We got 36,500 and 80 rolls cotton cloth at rupees 650. We have to calculate 650 into 80. How much we got? We got 52,000. Then we have to add both the values and we will get 88,500 is entered into the total column. Then next transaction is April 20 purchased from Mohan Karur for cash. So this transaction, what this transaction tells us? This transaction tells us cash purchases. So cash purchases we should not be entered. We should not entered or recorded this transaction into the purchases book because this is the cash purchases. We only enter the credit purchases into the credit purchases book. Okay. So we don't enter this transaction. So all the transactions we entered into purchases book and sales book. Then what we do? We have to add the amount into the total column. That is 58,500 plus 88,500. How much we get? We got 1,47,000 from the purchases book. Okay. So we have to write purchases account. We have to write purchases account data 1,47,000. Then we are going to find the total in the sales book. That is the total of the sales book is 39,900 plus 51,000. How much we get? We got 90,000. So we have to write sales account creditor 90,000. We find purchases book total and the sales book total. Do you have any doubt? Please comment it into the comment box. Thank you. Take care.